I'm in my new body. Let's see if the molecular reconstruction circuit works. Success!
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the JoyToy 1/18th scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Android Body Krang, Slash, and Tokka. These are the newest wave of figures from JoyToy in the 1/18th scale. Now these are made with more real-world styling to them, a little bit grittier and grungier on these characters because that's what the characters are for. Now I did get this at the Gundamit.com. I have a link down below where you get yours. Remember, THN, support your viewer on the main page. Helps the channel out if you go pick some of these up. But I'm going to go through these. I'm going to look at these. I'm going to try to go through it as quick as I can. And articulation is pretty much the same on all of these as in the past. So I'm going to kind of skip that in this one. But maybe I will do the Krang because it is different. But all the other figures, pretty much the same articulation. Let's get into this, get it done. And there's a ton of accessories to look at coming up. Here is the packaging for these, and it's a little bit thicker for the Krang, but almost, yeah, pretty much the same size as the rest of them. But the Krang one, a bit on the thicker side. Here, on the back, you get to see Krang, all the fun stuff Krang does, and Slash. See all the ton of weapons that come with these guys, and all that Slash sort of does, and Tokka with Razor. Kind of hard to get without the glare. There's the back. Let's crack them open. Alright, let's get started with Krang. He comes with a bunch of stuff. We're going to get into all of that. But I really like this. I like this little... He's got the standard Krang. His little robotic... Well, everything's robotic here, but it's a separate little one here that he's in. This is what we had as a kid, what we remember as a kid. Well, they actually made a big one of him too later on, but in the early days, this is all I really remember Krang walking around in. And as I really only collected the Turtles in the early days, I didn't go all the way through the run for sure. This is more of what I remember than actually the big android body. But in the cartoon, I definitely remember that in the cartoon. Toy-wise, I remember him in this little thing. That does look a lot different than the one that we got in the vintage line, and I like that. I like that it looks different. It's kind of cool looking. And with that, you can of course put him inside of the big android body by opening this up. So this is done a little bit different, and I'm wondering if, yeah, these things go over. You got to kind of tuck it around there. Anyway, there he is inside the body. I kind of like how they did that. You don't have to snap the torso apart. You don't have to do a lot. And yeah, it looks good. He's in there. It works. The android body itself looks pretty good. But let's get into these accessories before we get too deep into the giant android body. Now, we got all of these accessories. I do want to point out that when you go to pull a hand off, it's like the hand comes off easier than this part comes out of the arm, which is good in a way that it's not, this part isn't popping out, but you have to maybe get a tool to help get that out. I always have trouble with that. I feel more confident because this is bigger than the smaller ones. The smaller ones, I feel like I'm going to break them. So we do have fists for punching if that's the thing that you need. And he's got some metal tips on the knuckles. And then we've got all these accessories. So we got a drill bit, which I feel like I remember him using. I don't remember all of these getting used in the show. They do clip in really well. Then we've got an axe. He has an axe to grind with some turtles. Well, actually, he's just a giant robot. He doesn't have any issues other than malfunctioning. He's got a saw blade right there. There's his saw blade. That works. And then laser. It's like a triple laser gun going on right here. It's lasers. There's the lasers. Then he still has a mace. Now, the mace is partially articulated and partially not, which I kind of like it. I mean, should it have been better as just all a chain? Probably. One thing I know for sure, it's easier to plug it in off of camera. So off camera, and then here he is. It kind of fills around. There's only 2 points of articulation. This rest of this chain is just solid plastic, but it gets the job done. I mean, his mace works. I'm only going to be able to pick one of these for him to be displayed with. The rest are going to go back in the box. Maybe it's going to be the mace. I don't know. I did realize I need to do articulation on Krang because his body structure is different. So his head side to side, kind of on a ball joint, but it doesn't get a whole lot, a little bit down, not a whole lot up. Who's he looking up at? The Technodrome. You get all the way up to here. You could do 360 if the shoulder pads weren't in the way. Not a double joint on that. And then, of course, ball joint on his hand. Waist swivel, which is nice. Legs to there. To there. I mean, if you really torque it, you can get it to do some stuff. And then thigh swivel. Thigh swivel. And then should be a double joint at the knee. He's not going to be doing any dancing or anything. And then side to side a little bit. Up and down on that foot. Everything you need. He is pretty solid though, and that's what I care about the most. Now every wave seems to come with these, and you could just piece together the stand and one of these to put in the middle for them to stand on, or just a stand. Mine is not going to need a stand. He stands really well, so I'm just going to keep this in the box, but kind of cool they included it all, make up the price point. Next up we've got Slash, and he is loaded with accessories. He looks pretty cool. I do want to point out, I do have a lot of staining on my hands from working on cars, so that's probably going to show through, especially with this guy. There's his alternate head, and it's a bigger smile and a different color bandana for some reason. But he comes with a slew of accessories, and they're all duplicated, so he can have two of these slashing things. He's got this musket, which looks cool, and you know, actually, I think I want to put that in his hand. And he comes with the musket holding / shooting hand already in him. That's easiest hands popped off. That's pretty cool, actually. It's like they plan on you right away putting that gun in his hand. Very, very interesting. We've got two of these long swords. I'm sure there's a better name for it. Then you got this giant, whatever it's called, axe looking thing. Really cool. Nice shine to it. It's not like super shiny, but it does feel like you're looking at a piece of metal. You got a couple of these daggers. I'm going to figure out how to put all this stuff on him as much as I can. Now he's got other hands. He's got, if you want him to be a lefty, let's get this in the light. If you want him to be a lefty, shooting that, he's got sort of an open grasp hand. And I think it's more, he can hold this sandwich hand. It's probably better for holding a sandwich. But he's got a lobster sandwich that he could hold. Maybe this is for holding the mug. He can hold the mug. He comes with a mug. It's a root beer float he's drinking. And then sort of a grasping hand and all the same stuff, repeated fists for the other side. He comes with a miniature version of him before he grew up. And I guess he can hold himself in this other open hand here. Can hold himself. I'm sure you can figure out how to make that work. It looks like it matches the shell. And then with a little tree. A little tree. So, cool accessories. Let's get to looking at the figure. So let's get a good look at this figure here. He does have on his head here this extra bandana flaring off the side, off the back. So if you swap the head out, you wouldn't have that. It's just the other head doesn't actually have that. That's interesting. You've got these shoulder pads that are strapped on with some rope, just some homemade metal shoulder pads there. He's got this. It is a separate part. It feels like, but I also have the belt. Same kind of situation. I do like that if they give me a place to put a weapon, I'm going to store the weapon. We have knee pads on here, which are separate, but I think they're separate but glued in so it doesn't move and shift on you. And then here he is with this weapon in hand. He's got some wrist gauntlets going on. That's just like a chain wrapped around his wrist. He's got a giant spiky turtle shell going on there. There's spots for you to store the swords. I love that. I love that he's got room to hold pretty much all of his weapons. Not all of his accessories at once, but all of his weapons. You're still left with more accessories. And I think this works right out the box with the hands that they give you and everything for him to stand. Just like this, there's Slash. Next up we have Tokka, but I did forget to show the shield. And Slash also comes with a shield, just like Tokka does. I don't know how I missed that. Comes with the stand piece that's covering the shield. And then this one here comes with another red one. Slash came with this gray one of those. We'll get those out of the way. The shield does look nice. I don't know how we'll integrate that into it, but let's get into looking at this. So this figure is very, very similar in a way because we have some storage here, but it's a different overall design with some similar ideas. We'll get into the figure here in a bit. But let's look at these accessories, which he comes with aplenty. He comes with this giant thing right here, which is kind of cool. It's got a chain hanging off of it. So that's a nice melee weapon. Two of these different kind of swords. Kind of looks piratey. Arr, matey. Two more of these hand weapons. Similar yet different than what we got already with Slash. We got a hunk of meat with a bite taken out of it. That's kind of fun. And then we've got bigger daggers than before. Some pirate daggers. Do some daggering with them. And then we got more root beer float stein here going on. A float stein. And then more hands, more holding hand. Holding and gripping. A smaller grip. Fist and repeats for the other side. Another musket, and another small turtle, but no tree this time. All right, let's take a good look at him. Let's get Slash kind of out of the way so he's not taking up some valuable real estate in here. So he looks like he's got kind of that bird beak head in a way. It's turtle head, but beak head. And he's got some spikes on his shoulders, straps. So a lot of similarities to what we saw before. Maybe even some reuse in there. And then, of course, you put his swords, his daggers there. Swords, I'm just hanging them on the back. I don't know if that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Put his shield on him, and he's still holding this other melee weapon. Just looks decked out. You do see the Foot Clan right here on there. And then with Slash, you see, looks like a skull. Kind of a skull on the Slash one. So kind of goes back. He's got less spikes, but it's spiky, but it's in a different way than what we saw with the other one. So not much else going on in the back here. Pretty cool looking figures overall. I think that they really do the characters justice with this aesthetic. All right, so size and scale. This is a standard Super 7 Ultimates Turtle, which I actually have in my display. And this one here is the original LJN figure, Rocksteady Bebop, one of those two. Here's how they integrate with some of the other just standard turtles. This is of the same JoyToy line here. This is Leonardo and Donatello with his skateboard. And these guys look cleaner. These guys look really grungy. Kind of like my hands today. They look kind of grungy. And they're supposed to. And here they are with Shredder from this line and the Rocksteady Bebop guy from this line also. A little shorter than them. So, yeah, looks pretty good. Fits in. All right, this is my look at the android Krang. And, of course, Krang on his own with his little walker there. Tokka and Slash. And what do I think about these? I think that they're exactly what I expected. Having all the other turtles, this is similar to the turtles. Grungier than the turtles. Pretty much what these characters are in my mind. And, of course, with some of the other ones that I've purchased and picked up in the past, these are more detailed. These are a little more in the real world. And they've got a ton of accessories. They can store most of them. It's pretty cool that they did that. And as you notice, I did not do the articulation because of the fact that, same articulation. They do stand well if you're not moving this too much. But I did get this at Gundamit.com. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. And if you put in TH in the support your review, where you go to check out, then it's on the main page. It helps the channel out, but let me know what you think about these. Are you in on these, out on these, watching them from afar? Yes, I know I'm still turtled out, but if I don't pick these up now, there'll never be an opportunity to get them again. Today, hang out.
The molecular amplification circuit works! This guy's getting too big for his britches! Now, wretched reptiles, you will face the wrath of Krang!
Was Isn't that the name of a move?
This is taking too long. We've got to shrink this guy down. Now!